Hey guys, Gogsy here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are previewing Scotland against Serbia. Thursday's a big one. Could Scotland qualify for the first tournament in my lifetime? That is the question we are posing to you today. We've got with us, of course, the man, the myth, Stephen Reeside, a different view on YouTube. And we've also been joined by Richard Wilson on the history of Yugoslavia football podcast. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it'll do.
So, Richard, for those who are unaware of your work, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so for the past probably 6-7 years, I've been sort of watching mainly football from the former Yugoslavia, writing about it. I do bits and bobs of scouting for some clubs just on the region, because obviously teams over here are not able to have boots on the ground to watch as much as we'd like. Past year, 18 months, so I've had the History of Yugoslav Football podcast, which has been going really well, and get really good reception from people who've experienced it over in Serbia and Slovenia and Croatia, etc.
How did you manage to get into this? Because I was just sitting, just looking through your tweets. For example, after Scotland managed to beat Israel, I saw your tweets about how we can beat Serbia or how we can't beat Serbia, whatever way you want to look at it. So what hooked you on Yugoslavian football?
I'm of an age where sort of my first international tournaments that really made an impact were France '98, and from there you have the bronze generation of Croatia, and Euro 2000 you have players in tournament there, Slovenia and Zlatko Zajovic, and from there I've always been interested in football from the region, and it's one of those where the more you watch it, the more you really get involved in it, because it's so wild in terms of what happens behind the scenes. It's very much sort of almost like the Wild West sort of atmosphere, as you put it. I mean, we have such a great culture here in Scotland with sort of how we look at ourselves, and it's very similar over there in terms of how they are assessing football and in terms of just some of the nonsense that's going on as well.
We're going to have a wee bit of a face-off here. I've brought Stephen in to fight Scotland's corner. We've got Richard to back Serbia's corner. Now, I want you to go, basically, we'll do a penalty shootout. I want you to come up with sort of 5 key points each of where Serbia and Scotland are strong in and what their most weakest points are. So I'll go with Richard first. I know I've put you on the spot, but Richard, you go first. What is Serbia's key strength?
I think the key strength compared to Scotland is going to be the battle on Serbia's left between Eintracht Frankfurt's Filip Kostic and Stephen O'Donnell. We've seen O'Donnell struggle, I think, on the right-hand side for Scotland. You don't want to negatively judge a player, but I don't think he's really international class. For Kostic, you have a guy who for the past 2-3 years has been Serbia's most productive winger, and a guy who's really impressed in the Bundesliga consistently. He was a doubt for the game, but has sort of come back with Eintracht just this weekend. So he will be fit, he will be playing, and that really for me is a big mismatch between the two sides.
I thought I'd just warn you before you go any further. Me and Stephen are both Motherwell fans.
Unfortunately.
That's fine. I'm gonna have a go at Declan Gallagher as well. So.
Oh no! Here we go.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Gary's slaggers.
I mean, opportunity.
We'll go next to Stephen for strength of Scotland.
The strength at the minute is the form that we're in. We haven't been beaten in the last 8, and what that'll do is it will breed confidence in the side. I also think we're Serbia have great players like Dusan Tadic, Smolinkovic, Savic. We've got a great midfield as well. Let's not underestimate just how good our midfield is with the likes of McGinn, McTominay and Armstrong. And if we can win that battle, then I believe we'll win the game.
Deuce, back to Richard.
Alexander Mitrovic is the big difference maker, of course. He's got 35 goals in 55 games. It's an incredible strike rate for international level. He is, in terms of goal production, he is one of the best strikers that the region's ever produced. And how Scotland are going to play is sort of how he likes it. With Gallagher, with potentially McKenna. They're going to want to be in close to him and give him a bit of a fight. But we know from watching Mitrovic in the Premier League and internationally over the past couple of years, that's the sort of fight he relishes. And there's not really any doubt that whatever defence Scotland are going to be able to put it up in front of him centrally aren't going to be the class that he is facing week in, week out in the English Premier League.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I would still classify our defence, along with Robertson and Tierney, everyone else is sort of championship level. So that does give Serbia the attacking edge. But, Stephen, I'm sure we've got something else that'll we'll have a trick up our sleeve. What is it?
Steve Clarke's worked under the likes of Jose Mourinho. He will have done his research, Goggsy. He'll be fully aware of the strengths of Mitrovic, which, as Richard points out here, he's a top-class striker. I am not taking that away from him. He's absolutely phenomenal. But I watched Liam Cooper play against him for Leeds, and I actually thought that he dealt with him pretty well. And then we've got Tierney, who's hopefully going to play in that back line as well, who's got the pace as well. If any balls go in behind, Tierney will clear that up. He'll eat them up. And I'm sure we'll have done our research. We're going to have enough at the back. But I do agree with Richard, and although I'm a Motherwell supporter, the duel between Kostic and O'Donnell does concern me, because he did look out of sorts in one of the games in the last day that we played. But here's hoping that we'll have enough, and I believe we've done our research. We're going to get there. Let's be confident. We've got no reason not to be.
But you look over this past month, in the post-COVID era, those 5 games we've played, we've only had 7 shots on target. So if Scotland are going to beat Serbia, then they're going to have to beat them 1-0. And in the past 10 games, Serbia have only been kept to under 1 goal 3 times. And in all of those games, they had excuses, whether it be injury, selection, or just individual mistakes. This is a side which has very recently been pushing Portugal, been pushing Ukraine, been pushing Turkey, and they played absolutely excellently against Norway. Those are teams who are all, unfortunately, a class above Scotland, and it's hard to put much of an argument as to why Scotland would be able to hold them off, to that maybe 1 or 2 goals when other, such top class sides aren't able to do that.
That is very, very concerning. Now, Stephen, come on, we've got to have an answer for that.
He touches on the shots on target, and he's right. We did lack a bit of bite, but I think in the last game against Czech Republic, we definitely looked more threatening, particularly in the first half. And we've added something to the forward line. Lee Griffiths is coming back. And that boy has got goals in him. So, and he's shown in the past that he's not afraid to shoot from anywhere. Now, I'm not naive enough to know that Scotland are going to need to play 10 out of 10 everywhere. They're going to need to put in one of their best performances. But we've got a habit over the years of rising to the occasions against big sides, like we did when Walter Smith was manager. And I think that Steve Clarke's brought back that hard to beat mentality about Scotland, that ethos of just sitting in, being organised. He's the best manager to put out an organised side, and I really believe that he will do it again on Thursday, and we'll come out and we will sneak it.
Interesting. Now, Richard, what have you got to counteract that?
Lee Griffiths is great. I'm a Derby fan. I'm not going to have much bad to say about Lee Griffiths' scoring record, but the problem is Steve Clarke will have him on the bench. and you'll have Shankland on the bench. So that is Scotland's two best goal scorers who are going to be sat for most of the game not doing very much. What Griffiths brings to the side, we could say, his excellence at pieces. Well, Serbia are going to have that from Alexander Kolarov. And if you're talking about the strength of the attacking options from the bench, okay, Griffiths and Shankland are two great options to have, but Serbia can bring on Luka Jovic and they can bring on Dusan Vlahovic, and their international and club records over recent times, they speak for themselves. Jovic may be out of form, but he's still a very worthy Real Madrid player, and Vlahovic is one of the best young strikers in Serie A.
I wish I never came on to do this video because I was confident before I came on. but the more I listen to it, it's hard to argue with what he's putting forward. It really is. We are underdogs. We are underdogs going into this, but we thrive off of that tag, Goggsy, and we need to hope. We just need to hope for the magical 90 minutes. He's probably convinced me, to be honest.
I think Richard's winning 4-3 in this penalty shoot.
He's definitely winning. I've just hit the post.
Richard's got one chance to win the penalty shootout, and then we'll move on to the next point.
It's not just that Serbia's midfield is good. We know Milinkovic, Savic, we know Tadic, we know Gudelia, we know Milivojevic. It's that they're in form as well. Sasa Lukic at Torino is doing absolutely brilliantly so far this season. Milinkovic, Savic, they've got the luxury of being able to use them as a bench option, and seeing that's worked really well against not just Norway, but also worked well against Turkey. They are still a team in progress. They've only recently sort of moved to having three at the back, but it was long needed because of weaknesses in producing fullbacks. Because they have good wingers in Kostic on the left and Lazovic on the right, then it's compensated for.
Since 1998, since the year of our Lord, that Scotland actually did qualify for a World Cup, Serbia have qualified for the Euro 2000s as the former Republic of Yugoslavia, World Cup 2006 as Serbia and Montenegro, World Cup 2010 and World Cup 2018, in comparison to Scotland's victorious Kirin Cup win. I mean, it's not looking great, is it?
You need to think that that's all past squads. It's about the squads that we have now. And yes, Serbia are favourites. And Richard said that Steve Clarke will start Lee Griffiths on the bench. If he does that, we're in trouble.
I don't know, because if it was me that lined the Richard's gone. Is Stevie's taking the clutch here?
Oh no, I'm getting that down. Really good, Goggs. I was confident before this, and I'm not even lying. He's actually topped me into thinking that we're going to get beat.
But he has got some really good points there, though.
Absolutely. Unfortunately. He's got a cheek to wear a Scotland tab, or what he's talking.
After that brief interruption, I'm just going to ask you, Richard, to name a Serbia starting 11 that should strike fear into our hearts.
They've got a squad of about 30. How many names do you want me to say?
They've got a squad of 32.
They call it up extra in case of COVID. So they have already had one COVID dropout, Filip Juricic. But I think for my starting, I expect Rajkovic in goals. In defence, central defence would be Milinkovic, Pavlovic, and Kolarov. Your wing backs / wingers would be Darko Lazovic and Filip Kostic. In the middle, Nemanja Gudelia, Nemanja Maksimovic, and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, and then Dusan Tadic sort of as a 10, but sort of roaming attacking midfielder, and Alexander Mitrovic up front.
Easy days, 4-0 Scotland.
Oh, brilliant! So, Stevie, you've prepared your own Scotland squad to take on the Serbians. Let's hear it.
I bet with David Marshall in goal.
Yeah.
Richard's favourite Scotland player, Stephen O'Donnell, right back. Beside him, his second favourite, Declan Gallagher. Cooper and Tierney is the other two centre backs, and Robertson is like a left wing back. In the middle, I've went with McGinn, Scott McTominay, and I've went with Stuart Armstrong, just playing as a 10 behind the front two, because I think he's in great form for Southampton at the minute, so why not start players that are in form?
As long as he fix it away this time.
Well, there is always that. We're relying on people not pulling out. And then up front, I've went with Lee Griffiths and Lyndon Dykes. I had to go with Lee Griffiths. You've seen the impact that he's made for Celtic. Anytime he comes on, he gets a goal. And I think he's getting more and more game time now. So just give him a start. Adrenaline will carry him through, even if he's not 100% match fit. And Lyndon Dykes is in good form as well. So, and it's that big man, little man partnership. So I think that could work well for this.
Thank you very much. And unfortunately, we do not have Ryan Fraser because he's just pulled out of injury, because he was absolutely fantastic against the Czechs in the last international break, playing that sort of free role. Because I thought, I mean, he was everywhere. We don't have that sort of unpredictability.
Which is unfortunate. Because he definitely would have made my starting 11. Because you've seen how well he done against the Czech Republic. But we've got enough there. We need to go with confidence. We need to believe in ourselves. It's the biggest game in 22 years. Let's do it. Don't let us down.
Yeah. So let's have a score prediction for the game. Richard, you can go first.
If Serbia are able to get in front early, then I could see easy going 3-4-0, to be honest. The longer Scotland are able to frustrate Serbia, then the better it gets. For Scotland, I'll sort of split it in the middle, 2-0 Serbia. Okay.
Stephen, please provide me with some good news.
So Richard just went a very long way about there of going Scotland have no chance. But no, I'm going to be the eternal optimist, and I'm going to go for Scotland 2, Serbia 1.
I'm going to be that guy to say I'll go to penalties and Scotland will win. It's happening.
I don't think my blood pressure could take another penalty.
You know what it's like with Scotland? Like,
it's the best chance.
The longer it goes on, the better chance we have of actually qualifying. And I think we'll take it all the way to penalties, and we will win on penalties.
Well, I hope one of us is right. But I fear.
I hope it's not this guy.
I fear that Richard could be right, to be honest, after the in-depth analysis that he's given.
Yeah. But I think that brings a close to our wee preview. Thank you very much to Richard for coming on and telling us that Scotland have fuck all chance of qualifying. But
thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Where can we find you on the internet?
So easiest place is just on Twitter at Timo Mouse, TIMOMOUSE, or if you search on your podcast, it's the History of Yugoslav Football podcast, available on all good outlets and some shit ones too.
Perfect. Where can we find you, Stevie?
It's a different view, all one word, and then a space in football. And you listened to my last video. Well, 5 years did. As the time of this recording, I'm 3 off of 300 now. Get it done. Click subscribe. And if you're just sitting watching this yourself, don't think I'm no do it. Somebody else will do it. Take the mantle. Do what we need Scotland's midfielders to do. Take a bit of responsibility and go and click subscribe.
Absolutely. And it's been your host, Goggs89. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. And here's hoping Scotland will be in the Euros next year. Anyway,
come on, Scotland.
Take care. See you later.